don't forget to subscribe for more reviews. Please also like. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Tom. I trust you all are passing a fair day. Today we have the privilege of taking a look at the Transformers The Last Knights Infernocus. And this is a Legend scale combiner. As far as I know, this is the only combiner that, other than their Devastator, that they have done in the movieverse. So I could be wrong. If I am, let me know. But real quick, we'll take us a peek here at the box. As you can see, it is window box. You've got your 5 robots right there. You've got inside, you've got a picture of, or a little statuette. The Transformers thing, it's Toys R Us exclusive. Transformers on the side. You've got a piece of artwork right there. The back of the box has product shots and the various different robots. The side of the box has Cybertronian writing and product shots, and the bottom of the box don't need anything in here. Alright, so I will take everything here out of the box. And okay, and the box is empty. Setting the box aside, we get this little card here. Okay, we get our instruction sheet. Okay, and we get the figure itself. And I will take a moment here. Oh, sorry about that. And I will clip the little thingies here, freeing them from their prison, as it was. He's getting out on good behavior. Or maybe his behavior's bad, who knows? Alright. You have to be careful when you cut these things away like this, so that you don't accidentally damage your figure. I think I may have one that's... Let's take us a moment and just take us a really quick peek look at her. This is Quintessa. She's just a wee thing. Just a wee thing. And measuring her out, let's see, she's plastic. She is standing approximately... How tall is she? I don't know. I need to set the phone down to find out. She is approximately 1.5 inches tall. She's just a wee thing. She's pretty though. But she's a wee thing. We'll set her aside. And focus on this guy. Is he ready to come out? Nope, I missed one. There we go. Now it's ready to come out. Oh, I missed. Nope. Alright. And his little tail here. And we'll set this bit of the packaging aside. And let's take ourselves a little brief look here at Decepticon Infernocus. And he is an interesting character, to say the least, straight out of the packaging. Yeah. Interesting. That's a good word for him. Yeah, interesting. Let's go with that. He can stand. I'll give him that. And I know this is a remold of the Abominus mold that they did for the Transformers Prime. But I don't think I have any of those figures. Well, I've got the Ripper Snapper figure somewhere, and the Grimlock repaint they did, and I've got this one somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. So I may have to dig those up somewhere at some point. But let's set him aside for the moment. Take a really quick look at the sword. And molded detail. Yeah, it's nice. Let's take a look at this guy. Just give him a once over here real quick. He's got bright. That's interesting. He's got an interesting head sculpt. Look at that. Look at the orange in the eyes. The orange on the crest. He's got Cybertronian writing right there on his chest, and looks like, I think they refer to that as digital paint. You can almost see the you know, we would call it dot matrix back in the day. Orange, silver, yeah, he's an interesting looking little character. From the back, he looks like this. He's a little hollow. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to disassemble him, and we'll go through each of the figures, kind of like we did with Hulky. And then we'll show putting him together and see what he's like. And then we'll do the size comparisons and everything at that point, and show him holding his weapon. Okay. Alright, so the first two figures that we're going to take a look at is going to be Gorge, which is this guy right here, and Glug, which is this guy right here. And I think I've mentioned this previously, but these are repaints of the Transformers Prime Abominus. So yeah, they're just flat out straight up repaints. At least these smaller ones are. And I'm gonna start off, I think, with Old Gorge here. And let me begin by just simply giving you a scale comparison here, size-wise. Looks like he's coming in at, from tip to tip, about 2 3/4 to the top there. From shoulder to shoulder, looks like he's coming in at 1 3/4 inches, according to what I see, looking at it from where I'm at. Let's see if I can. He's all these figures are just black, and it's that there's a little gloss to them, but I know it's going to be hard to come off on camera, and I'm doing my best to see that it stays in focus. Let's see, paint wise, he's flat black, other than he's got a little bit. I'll try to keep this in focus. Focus. Okay. He's got a little bit of this orangey color right here for the visor. He's got a little bit of orange on the chest. He's got a little bit of orange here on the back for the teeth. And the eye, or I guess that's the head crest, and the eye is picked out on both sides. And that represents the paint that is on this little Legion scale figure. And he has a huge gap. I don't know how well that's coming off on camera, but he's got a huge gap right here. I mean, tuck his head in there, gap. That's what's, yeah, that's his combiner port. That's where the other guy clips in at. So it's just there. Articulation wise, his head can't really move anything except up and down. His arms are on a ball joint. Right there's the ball joint. They're fairly tight. They go all the way around. I don't know if that counts as pain or not. If you want to count it, you can count it. He has no elbow articulation. It's a static piece. As is, no, his hand actually moves in and out. So yeah, it'll do that. See what I mean about that head? It's hard keeping it up. His hips will separate. He's on ball joints for hips, so he can, if he'll cooperate, he can do the full Chinese splits, and yeah, he can do the full American splits too. That knee doesn't bend, but it does have a mushroom peg in there, so you do get some articulation as far as movement for that. And these toes here are on a hinge. That represents his articulation. Alright. And he can hold a little 3mm weapon, 3mm port weapon. Do I have anything handy? Of course, I never have anything handy when I need it. Actually, I do. Never mind. This is the weapon from Generations Cliff Jumper, and it's got that little bitty 3mm port. And of course, it's black too, so it's probably not going to come off. But yeah, he can hold the little 3mm port weapons. I imagine they all can. Now, of course, they don't come with anything except the sword, which doesn't have any. Maybe it does. Yeah, he can hold his sword. Never mind. I stand corrected. Okay. So, I'm going to transform this guy now. And I just want to make sure I get it right. I'm going to take a quick peek here at the instructions. Again, just to make sure I'm getting it right. Because I have had people fuss at me for not doing this stuff correctly. And I understand. They want to see it right. Pull this up here. Bring it all the way over. Separate the hips. Rotate these around. You can bring his chest up and kind of hide his head here. Bring these down. Bring these down and around. These will form little claw things. This comes down on a hinge. These come around. His wrists come in. Is that right? It sure does look that way, at least on the instructions. And you can rotate these around, and he's got that mushroom peg there, so you can make it look. I don't even know if any of that was in camera. I sure hope so. Oh boy, what a reviewer. What a reviewer you are, Tom. Anyway, that's how you transform him. All right. All right. So now we're going to take a look at Glug. And Glug is the second figure that I have in this mold. And the first one was a copy of Grimlock, and I was not. If I refer to Glug here as Grimlock a couple of times, you'll understand why. Let's just get the measurements out of the way. To the very top here, he's coming in at 2 3/4 of an inch, shoulder to shoulder, 1 3/4 inches according to my ruler. Let's get in close here, as close as the camera will allow and still focus. Come on now, you can do it. You can do it. I have full confidence in you. Focus! Focus, man. At least let him see the head sculpt. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. That's a face only a mother could love. Yes, but at least you can actually see this now. The eye kind of represents the paint. Everything else is just this kind of smooth plastic. It's not until we turn around to the back that we get a little bit of this digital paint, and it's just silver. And it's digital. You can actually see, hopefully it's in focus, you can actually see the marks. We used to call it dot matrix marks before they were doing digital painting. So, well, that's okay. One of the issues I had with my Grimlock mold of this was that it didn't stand very well, and this one suffers from the same issues. He's just so heavy in the back. One of the things I discovered was that I could just extend these little wrist things and kind of give him heel spurs, and it works. It's unsightly, but it does work. Let's do some quick size comparisons. Let's see here. Here he is with Minicon in this mode, and here he is with Chase. Okay, he's Legion scaled, and because he's Legion scaled in this mode, here he is with Barricade, who's also Legion scaled and from this movie's wave. Okay, so transforming Grimlock here is not a difficult task. You rotate the arms up, you take his legs here, and this is Grimlock's head right here. You just unfold it, rotate it. You have to get it in the right orientation. It doesn't help that I've messed with the arms here. Get it in the right orientation, and then you just pin it together. It's got just a single pin in a single slot here. It's not the greatest connection, and it will come apart on you. Be prepared for that. Now, he's just got one more thing to transform him. This back piece here, where it's got the paint, is on a hinge. Right here's the hinge, and it's got a very thin piece of plastic connecting it. And it's pinned right here. If you can see the shiny pin, it's pinned right here, and it is a very thin piece. I don't remember it being quite that thin on the Grimlock copy of the mold I had, but it is sure thin here. So I don't much care for this creature in creature mode, so he's probably never going to see this again. He's got ridges right here. Focus. Focus. He's got ridges right there, which corresponds to tabs right here, which as you bring this up will just slide right in there and kind of help solidify the head at least a little bit. And then you just rotate the legs down, and this is, what's his name? Glug. That's Glug. And he is far, far, far from perfect. But again, this is a repaint, reuse of a mold. So what do you expect? In this mode, let's see, size comparison. Here he is next to Chase. And the Minicon. Let's put the Minicon over here. Okay, and let's throw in Barricade. Again, sense of scale. And to measure from tip to tip, he's cresting 3 inches here, in person, I would say accurately just barely over 3. He's not 3 1/4. Width-wise, these are still his shoulders, so I don't expect anything to change. He's still just under 2 inches, not by much. So yeah, that is Glug's transformation.
Thank you for watching my Papa's channel. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.
Vitamin John. Apparatus are standing by.